I'm making this the 5th time because I'm trying to save your time, and always I start blabbering too much of random stuff. Somebody on Reddit wanted to know how to create X steel bands all around a steel chest. I mean, wooden treasure chest. You could do it so that you just use what do you might call it, conform to shape, or whatever that thing is called, constraint to edge, I think it is called, and then do a chamfer, and you could do the band and then extrude. But it's not really perfect, because if you look at what's happening here, the edge width kind of changes. If you look at it like this, it's not the same, and then you're not gonna have a nice topology across it if you wanted to unwrap it or whatever. So I have a better suggestion, which is use path deform. So I'm just gonna remove that one edge from my selection and create a path. Create path from selection. Now we have a path from those edges. It's like that. And then we're going to create a box, which will be the band. Dun, dun, dun. And for ease of modifications, I'm going to make a reference copy. Reference is like an instance, so that gets history from the parent, but you can put things on top of it that don't end up on the parent. So, for example, now I'm going to put path deform, world space modifier, path deform, pick path, move to path, and then as the pivot is in the center, I want this to be halfway. Obviously it's not aligned correctly because it's using the z-axis of the box to travel along the path. So we're gonna see, okay, it's otherwise good, except we need to rotate it 180. But it doesn't go from corner to corner, it just goes across. So I'm gonna put the X form before that. Oops, I put something totally different. And now I'm gonna rotate it 45 degrees. 45. Oops. Let's hope this is 45, because it would be nice for the other guy. Now, I can use the stretching to check how far along the path it stretches. So let's, oops, not that one. Let's put it like that. 0.75 is good for our uses now. And then we're gonna use this to adjust the length. Kind of beautiful, I'd say. And now I'm gonna create another copy, I mean reference, which is gonna be the other band. And I'm gonna copy from here. Oh yeah, you cannot copy both at once because the other one is a world space modifier. Move to path. Now it's on top of the other thing, but I'm gonna go back to the X form and rotate it 90 degrees so that it's 45 to the other direction. And now I have the two crossing bands. And now if I wanted to go and modify this guy, I could, for example, what would I want to do? What I want to do, this is what I want to do. So now they are, it came to both of those guys. And now if I wanted to do unwrapping or whatever, it would update and stay there. Obviously then you want at some point, either at this point or later. Now I think that in fact, this is the other thing. Now I wanted to modify just these edges, and it's pretty annoying because it only deforms the edges, and the edges are the selected edges are the only ones that get deformed to their correct place. So I add polyselect here and hit show end result. And now if I do some turning here, as you see, the other one would need it the other direction, so you actually have to do it above the reference line. Just keep in mind, if you do edit poly stuff above this, then you can't go below, or depends on what kind of modifications you do, but you have to be kind of conscious there. Still, this is kind of nice way of doing that. And that's not all. So instead of doing the X form the other way around on the other band, this is actually a better way. So that's kind of should work anyway, but let's say it's under the polyselect. I hate that. I have the weird circular thing. I think I have a mystery shortcut that does it. Basically what I'm after is, anyway, that you can create these edge rotations as you want. This is not the fanciest work now. It's only about the principle. Yep. So now I have those edges supposedly fixed to the right angle. They're not very nicely done. So instead of you redoing the X form on the other copy, let's do it like this. Copy. Oops. Maybe it was a reference, but I want it. No, it was a copy. I want the reference. Path form, and well, X form first. And I made it even instance. So now it's on top of that. But after the X form, let's put mirror. So now I can edit these edges, etc., and it still keeps them both inheriting from this object. That is all. One more thing that I didn't mention on the previous take is that sometimes let's not do that. I'll make a copy of it. Sometimes the path that you're using has stuff like, let's see, like this, where the weighting of the Beziers is not neutral, and the spacing of the edges and the mathematics of the spline are not even. And if you have that kind of spline, I'm going to show it. Let's pretend that it's the same thing and pick that path. Move to path. You see that's doing kind of wonky stuff, and if I travel along the path, this is not the best example for showing this because you can't see it very clearly, but it's not even. It stretches on some points and it shrinks on some points. So the way to solve that, when you have a path that is uneven, is normalize path, normalize. And then this basically sets that how frequently it creates points when it recreates that path. So it sort of creates a new spline out of the old one. Let me show you edit spline. So it's like that. If I take that off, these are the previous. You can see that it's not exactly even. There are these wobblies there. But when I put the normalized spline, probably because I had some selection on. Yeah, you shouldn't do wonky stuff. Then it recreates it with a even spacing of the vertices or spline points.